Welcome, everybody, to the 5th episode of the Maze of Thoughts. Once again, another weekend, another episode. Don't leave your thoughts incarcerated within your mind. Let them out. Let them roam free. Expand the knowledge and the wisdom of others by transforming your thoughts into words. Let your thoughts find their own path through the maze. The maze of thoughts. Before moving on to the topics, let us tell you about the social media where you can find us so that you keep with the news. First and foremost, Castbox.fm is our primary platform where this podcast is hosted. So click or tap the subscribe button so that you get notified every time a new episode comes out. It also helps us a lot in reaching broader audiences and more people that might need to hear some thoughts. You can check us out on Twitter at Maze Podcast all together. Our Facebook is facebook.com/Maze of Thoughts Podcast, as well as our Instagram. If you'd like to interact with us live through Twitch, the link is twitch.tv/maze_of_thoughts. It's very important that you keep the underscore there. So head there and give us a follow for notifications. And then our Patreon can be found at patreon.com/Maze of Thoughts. And if you'd like to join us for conversation, participate in future podcasts, or listen to us while we record, you can check our Discord at https. It's pretty obvious. I don't know why it's there. But it's discord.me/MOT podcast. Discord.me/MOT podcast. With me, I have Misnomer. Hello.
Hi, everybody.
And we have Dice as well, which has been absent for a few weeks now, but she's back. What's up?
Hey, how's everyone doing? I'm happy to be back.
Alrighty then. So, we're going to be starting with our typical topics conversation for the week. And this was meant to be talked about last week, but since our conversations kind of caught up on different subjects, I think, because we started talking about drinking and fighting, and I was hungover, so it was, yeah. Anyway, so apparently a gamer in a competition shot the winner because he lost. And apparently this was in Florida in a tournament. And honestly, I think it was in Florida. And honestly, I don't know. I have my opinions. What are your guys' opinions?
So, this is about a video game?
A video game competition.
Oh, man, I feel like that just adds to the stigma that video games, cause violence.
Yeah.
Okay, so I can start talking about this. So, obviously, I'm not an American. I'm Portuguese, and I'm in Portugal, so we don't have guns. And even if we have a little knife that just goes over to a certain measurement, it's you can be considered a criminal. But I don't know. In my opinion, I feel like one thing they should have done or one thing that they need to improve after this for sure is security. Because, what are you doing? How the hell did you allow someone to play video games with a gun? 2, I think the dude with the gun has some mental issues. If you lose a game and you shoot somebody, if he's in jail, then good, because he needs to be, because he's not cut out to be in society with that mentality or with that whatever goes through his mind. Might have been might have had a bad week, might have had a bad month, might have been having a bad year or something. Maybe winning that was a life-changing opportunity that, well, was not really happening the way he wanted it to happen. But still, nonetheless, I think it's no reason for you to shoot somebody, especially in a video game tournament. I actually thought that it wasn't one of the the participants in the tournament. I actually thought I thought it was like some guy that came over there while people were playing games in the tournament and just started shooting. But when it's actual one of the participants of the tournament, it makes everything a lot worse. Because if it was just one guy, I would say that one of the options for possible solutions was mainly just having, do the tournaments, but don't let people come in. Just do the tournaments, and then when people, just live stream it. Just have different camera angles and everything, and just live stream it. Let the gamers do their thing, and then other people can watch from their homes comfortably. But since it's the actual player, that's a lot worse. I mean, holy shit. Yeah, but that's basically my opinion. What do you guys think?
So I have some insight on Florida's firearm regulation as far as having like a concealed weapon, concealed carry. So I'm reading from, although I'm well aware that Wikipedia is not the best site for reference, it does have a condensed version of what the Florida regulations are. So I'm just going to read that briefly so we have like a background for how this guy has his weapons and what the rules are regarding that. So firearm regulations are Florida, and a carry license is valid everywhere other than in a few specifically defined areas. These prohibited areas include any police station, prison, courthouse, polling place, government meeting place, airport, seaport, or tavern. So nowhere is it listed that it's illegal to have a concealed carry in a convention setting or a tournament or competition. Concealed carry is also prohibited in any school except for authorized security personnel or armed marshals. So that kind of makes things a little weird. Anyone lawfully carrying a firearm in a concealed manner may briefly and openly display the firearm to the ordinary sight of another person, unless the firearm is intentionally displayed in an angry or threatening manner, not in necessarily self-defense. So right there, that's how it became against the law in Florida with him. He had two guns on him, one that he used and the other one that was still on his person when he died.
So it's prohibited. Wait, so was that applied after the event, or was it already?
This is already in place.
Okay, so he was already committing a crime just by walking in that place with guns concealed.
No, he wasn't. He was allowed to have the guns on him. It's just when he took them out in an angry or threatening manner, meaning with the intention of killing another person, that's when it became illegal. And
why the fuck would you walk in? Why would you be a participant in a video game tournament?
Exactly, and this is my biggest problem.
Like what? Go on.
Like he obviously had an intent to kill when he went in there, because first of all, if you're in a game tournament, there's no need for weapons. You're playing video games. Why would you have weapons on your person unless you felt threatened in some way or had the intent of using them on someone? And there wasn't any, as far as I understand, there wasn't very much security there. Like, they didn't check for these things at the convention. So even if he is lawfully allowed to have a concealed weapon, it wasn't verified or, checked. So anybody could have had a weapon in there.
So I think this is how we got past like the whole checking thing. So it wasn't at an actual convention center. I'm reading up on it right now. It was in a gamer bar, like a gamer lounge, where they serve pizza and they have like video game systems set up. So I guess that kind of caused for the lack of security in regards to this event.
Okay, that makes a lot more sense then. But it's still weird that he's walking around with two guns to like a place that's supposed to be relatively chill. There's no real threat in an area like that, unless of course you're that insecure as a person that you feel the only way to assert yourself is to kill your opponents.
I feel like maybe he had an intent to kill more people than he than he originally did. That's why he did this all at in a huge gathering where there was going to be lots of people at.
Yeah, because
you reckon he could have been like a mentally unstable individual who
I think he was
signed up for that event. just to do that.
Oh, yeah. No, I think if I can, I don't have the information in front of me at the moment, but I do recall reading something about him. He's had a history of mental illness, and it was documented. And again, this goes into that whole issue we have is why do people that have mental illnesses have access or easy access to guns? I mean, this is not something.
Fuck it, brother. Let's give guns to everybody. What you mean?
Pretty much, and it's all under the right to bear arms, our Second Amendment rights, and it's so scary. This was the conversation I had before with Wretched when I was saying that I don't think that guns should be banned altogether, but I definitely think there should be some regulations implemented that makes it more difficult for certain individuals, like this person, to get a hold of guns. It's clear, abundantly clear and documented that this person was not of sound mind, yet he was allowed to access things that threatened other people's lives.
Because it's too late at this point to banish guns from America. It's just too late. Like, it's not going to happen. And, even if they try to do, like, obviously the government has 10 times, 100 times more firepower than any sort of, like, regular human being could have in America. But still, it would be doomsday most likely, because you would have, like, the regular
Joe
person or whatever. And then you would have government and military forces, because the military forces, let's face it, are probably going to be with the government because the government's who pays their bills, which is wrong. The military should always be towards the people and not the government, because fuck the government. But, like a few years ago in Portugal, there was a manif going on, and if it wasn't for those guys standing there defending the fucking parliament, people would go in there and they would fuck up shit, and it's like, why are you defending these fucking idiots? Like, if there's better people in here, are they going to pay you better for the job that you're doing, standing up here against like fucking 500 people or something, So don't defend them. Defend the people. The people are the ones that pay your bills, because they're the ones that pay taxes and pay the fucking government. So, get out of there, dude. Just let them fuck shit up,
No, I know this. I know this will probably sound bad, but I'm just glad he had just a regular handgun instead of an assault weapon.
Yep.
At this point, I feel like it's just choosing like the lesser of two evils. But like, imagine if he had like a higher artillery type weapon. Like, he already killed 3 people and like injured 11, or 3 including himself. But
how would you conceal an assault rifle though?
Oh, you'd be surprised.
You'd be surprised, yeah.
That's what was happening with a lot of the school shootings, is people were getting into the school concealing military-grade weaponry.
All you need is a backpack or like a large jacket. If everyone's having fun and focusing on the screen, then I don't think anyone would notice,
But I don't know. It's like you walk in with a large jacket into a video game convention during August, which is like summertime.
In Florida.
In Florida.
It's hot as hell down there.
That's sketchy as fuck.
It is. And it's like, it's terrible that we have to extend ourselves in this way to playing detective and trying to point out potential threats in that way. Obviously people should be vigilant, but there's no reason we should be on constant alert all the time because the ever-looming threat of being killed because someone has a break. Like, that's just not realistic, and that's traumatizing for everyone involved.
Yeah. And then for me, the weirdest part is like, why a video game thing? Like, is the guy actually a gamer, or does he actually have something against video games that he felt the need to just go in there and like, oh, I'm going to lose a game and I'm going to shoot people? Like, what? What's going on, dude?
Oh, okay. So here's what it says. So it says Katz was a known gamer and he appeared to have won the Madden Build Championships in 2017. So prior to his his shooting thing, he was a pretty well like astounded person in the Madden community for gaming. So maybe this loss.
So he lost like.
I'm guessing, yeah.
Like, what?
There's a picture of him with some type of football personnel person. So I guess he was pretty high up there if he was meeting actual players and shaking hands with game developers.
So that was more of an ego thing, it sounds like. Like his ego was crushed because the title was taken from him, which is terrible because we win and lose. That's just a part of life. You work hard to get what you want and sometimes you don't. But you learn from your mistakes and you move forward with them. But with his history of mental illness, I can understand how that there's a disconnect in that rationale. He was obviously not being logical in that situation. A loss for him was much more traumatic than it is for maybe someone else. And again, it's just the fact that he was able to access this information with the state of mind that he had is just terrible. That needs to be addressed.
And you see, another thing is like, you have to understand that a lot of these guys, when they become champions or something, they just slack. They don't keep like practicing or so. At least I feel like it's that way for many situations. Like I just feel like people. I feel like people just go and okay, I just won. I'm the champion, so I don't need to practice anymore. I'm just gonna play casually now. So it's very easy for someone else who practices every day to overtake them. And you like, even when you win something, obviously people are going to have, the necessity to do better than you did. So they're going to be using you as an inspiration and as an influence to start, practicing more and more and more. So you have to practice even more than they did. So that if you want to be the champion again, it's like, if you win something and then you slack just because you won, someone's going to be taking over. It's pretty simple. It's logical.
It's strange. I was watching actually a little clip of the Twitch live stream when it happened, and one of the guys who was shot and killed, right before he was shot, a red laser appeared on his chest. So the shooter had a scope, like a laser scope hooked up to his gun. So it makes you think, was this all planned out? Like, was he going to intend to lose to try to justify this killing, or was it just a coincidence?
I'm thinking he went in with the mentality. He's like, losing is not an option. So
if you got a scope hooked up to your gun, then
that's all. Yeah, that's premeditated. You don't just, oh my God. So he's thinking, hey, I've done this game. No one's going to beat me. It's because either I go in there and win and everything's fine, or I go in there and lose and everybody loses.
My goodness. How terrible.
It is. It's scary to know that there are people out there that have that kind of mentality or that capacity to react in that way. And honestly, I'm going to say, I don't think it has anything to do with the video game itself or the community surrounding it, because as you saw, there's other people within the same community that didn't act that way at all. Like, I'm pretty sure a lot of people lost that day, but they took it in stride and saying, okay, hey, I need to train harder. I'll practice again next time. Good game, guys. Good game.
Yeah.
But not this.
I mean, it's Madden, it's food, like American football, isn't it?
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's like, well, what if it was Counter-Strike or I don't know, something like Battlefield or something else? I would understand to a certain extent. Like, I mean, you're playing this game already, so you must have some sort of appreciation for guns and everything. But Madden, like, what? I don't. It boggles my mind, honestly. Like, well, that dude clearly needs to be in jail. Or in a mental institution or some shit.
Oh, he's dead now, so I guess it doesn't matter.
Oh, he's dead now.
He's
okay,
dead.
Well, fuck him then, motherfucker.
But yeah, it's just kind of like, there's already this stigma that violent video games produce violent people, which I think is
yes, but it's
bogus.
Madden.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
It's bogus.
It's Madden.
I play all kinds of violent video games, and I would consider myself to be more or less a pacifist. Like, I don't fight people or start things unless they need to be started. I'm not just going to snap at any moment just because things aren't going my way. I have that emotional regulation and that ability to use logic and dictate my actions. Whereas somebody, again, that clearly has a deficit in that area, it has nothing to do with the video games themselves. It's that individual. Mm-hmm. So that's what we need to focus on. It's the person, not the games themselves.
Exactly, yeah. I agree with that.
It's hard, though, because you can't keep track of everyone. And you don't know who is like, who could do something bad, because you would never expect this well-known gamer to just snap like that. Mm-hmm. It was such a surprise.
There's a lot of things to take into consideration here, because it's not just the video game. It's the video game. It's a tournament. It's mental issues. You don't know if he was having a good life or a very bad life. You don't know if he was having a bad day. You don't know if he was having a bad week, a bad month, a bad year. You don't know if he was like losing all the recognition that he managed to get in 2017. He was losing it all now in 2018. Mm-hmm. And like with mental issues, there might be things behind just the fact that it's a video game. I hope media doesn't take this shit into video gaming and video games are best for your kids, guys. Don't play video games, okay? It's like, no, video games are good. Video games exercise your brain. Fuck, we know kids need to exercise their brains nowadays, because otherwise they're going to be stupid as fucking like 10, 20 years, dude. It's the future. They need to exercise their brains. I mean, there's applications on the phones nowadays that you take a picture, and I use this myself like 2 or 3 or 4 years ago, and like you take a picture of a mathematic equation, and the fucking application does all for you, and even like gives you the formula, like the whole process of the equation. So it's like, like there's applications for everything nowadays. You don't even need to fucking exercise your brain anymore. Mm-hmm. So it's like video games kind of do that, because you're playing a video game. It's the sense of reward that it gives you that makes you keep playing that game. And it's a puzzle. Okay, I need to figure out this puzzle. And there's no one pressuring you. It's not going to change your life whether you do that puzzle or not. It's the sense of reward. You're going to be able to get that puzzle done, and it's going to feel great. So, it's like kind of Dark Souls, dude. Like, why do people go through the pain of playing Dark Souls? I've died like 20 times to a boss, and I still kept going at it. It's like, it's the definition of insanity, except it's not, because I don't know. It's like it kind of is, but in a way, it's like, okay, maybe next time it's going to be different, because I'm going to do this and I'm going to try that, and it works. It actually works. And then when you kill the boss, finally, you feel so fucking good. I killed this boss. It's like you feel great.
Yeah, no, that sense of that reward and achievement is something that's definitely sought after, and I think that's a common theme in people that play video games, is that reward that comes with struggling and that trial and error that you go through in many games that are played these days. Unfortunately, the mechanics are changed in a lot of the newer games to make it a little more easier to achieve that reward. But it doesn't take away from the fact that there are certain skills and dynamics that are needed to kind of help a developing brain to become more functional. It's a give and take.
I feel like Overwatch would be a possible game to create a lot of serial killers, honestly.
I knew you were going to say that. No, leave Overwatch alone.
No, it's going to create a lot of serial killers in the future. People are going to be fucking slaying everybody, slaying each other. It's going to be...
this.
It's going to happen.
Nerf this. You leave it alone.
It's going to happen. I mean, the people who play that game are like fucking headless chickens running around who have no fucking idea what they're doing. They have no sense of awareness. They don't fucking know shit. And it's like... Listen, I had fucking 3 or 4 games last night, all right? And I'm doing good, As soon as the game starts, I'm doing good. What the fuck does the enemy team do? All right, this guy's a threat. Let's fucking focus him. And focus. My team does not fucking help me once. Not once. Not once.
Wait, do you have your
And
mic
it's
on?
like, I have no space to do anything. Nothing. They're always focusing me, always coming after me. And it's like, fuck you, motherfucker. Go fuck yourself. Let me play the fucking game.
That's a strategy, you know. They're taking
that really is.
They're taking out the
No,
strongest
of course
link.
it is. I understand it, but your team needs to help you.
Oh,
They're
that's
trying to
true.
get you to rage quit, dude.
No, listen, it's trying to make you rage quit. It's a literal strategy. If you are playing DPS and you are a threat to the enemy team, obviously they're gonna try to take you out. It's
Yeah.
obvious because
But
you're the
that's-
threat. You die and they go through.
Exactly.
It's like, you know, you're the only one causing them to be stuck in a choke point. So if you're taken out, they can easily go through then. That's why they take you out. It's what your team should do with the enemy team all the time. So it's like, but your team needs to help you out. Your healers need to focus you as well, because now you're a primary target. So your healers need to be with you. Your tanks need to be with you as well. Your team needs to help you. That's why those motherfuckers in Grandmaster and top 500 playing DPS are there, because they have the teams help them out. The teams are with them. It's like, that's why people are stuck as DPS in platinum and diamond and gold and shit, because no matter how good you are, if the enemy team focuses you, and I feel like we just wasted a lot of time talking about Overwatch. I'm not going to talk about this anymore. Let's move on to the next topic, shall we?
Okay. Go ahead, Dice. Your turn.
You guys see the new Nike promotional thing they have, where they have Colin
Yes.
Kaepernick being, you know, the new face of Nike. What are you guys' thoughts on that?
Well, I think it's fantastic. It's about time that he gets the coverage and the endorsement that he deserves, because if I'm not mistaken, the NFL decided to take away all his endorsements from teams, and they blacklisted him.
They blacklisted him.
And because, so let me clarify. His original protest in kneeling during the national anthem has nothing to do with the flag itself. It has to do with bringing awareness to police brutality against people of color, specifically Black people in America. And when he took that kneel, people assumed that he was disrespecting the troops. I will tell you right now, my significant other is a soldier. And there is no disrespect of the flag, because there is nowhere in the Constitution that says you need to stand, kneel, or recite even the national anthem. Like the fact, this is part of our freedoms as American people. We have the right to do as we wish. Now, when the American flag was first instated, I forgot which amendment it was, but you're not supposed to use the flag for anything other than, saluting it when it's raised. Yet we have flags on socks. We wear flags. We literally step on flags when we have them on our socks and shoes. We have flag cars, flag shirts, flag handkerchiefs where we blow our noses. We are blowing our nose with the American flag. Do not come and tell me that because someone kneeled during the national anthem that they are unpatriotic and they are disrespecting soldiers that defend our rights. Soldiers are supposed to protect us against foreign and domestic threats. Kneeling at the flag has nothing to do with that. And so blacklisting him because of that was wrong. And the fact that Nike essentially came to his aid in saying, hey, we support him. He's standing for what he believes in. And so he gets what we have. So, take it or leave it. I think that's wonderful that he's finally getting that representation and the acknowledgement from a big name company.
So, Apollyon, I don't know if you realize how big of a deal this is, but there's a huge
have no
uproar.
fucking idea who that is.
So Colin Kaepernick was a football player on the 49ers. So he was really popular, really famous, really good player. and he kneeled down during the national anthem. So it caused so much uproar. They blacklisted him, called him unpatriotic. So to have Nike, I think such a big brand, talk about something so controversial, I think it's really bold and really great of them to bring this up. But like, there's thousands of people, like if you just look it up on Twitter, who are burning closets worth of Nike gear in protest, saying how Nike supports an unpatriotic American.
Okay, so that's what I saw on Facebook. Imagine burning things that you already paid for.
And so I'm glad that we have a perspective from someone outside of the U.S. just to give a little insight on. I just want to know what your.
I don't know what insight I can give, honestly. I mean, I don't know the dude. I don't like. I've never been raised with those like patriotic, sort of lunatic things. I'm not gonna lie, I think it's fucking like ridiculous. As you said yourself, like you're always stepping on your flags, you're always blowing your nose on your flags, and you have the flags all over the place. So like, what? Like, I agree with you completely. I mean, like, you can't really say that's disrespectful. I mean, at the end of the day, it's just a materialistic thing. It shouldn't represent, it shouldn't represent who you are or who someone is or something. I don't know. It's just like, it's different ways of perceiving things. Mm-hmm. And honestly, I'm an Adidas fan, so fuck Nike.
It's kind of creepy. Like, do you guys know what the show What Would You Do is?
Yes, it's that. Mm-hmm.
So it's like a show where they have controversial topics and they make up scenarios and they put regular people in it. And one of the newest episodes, I think they just released it like maybe last night or this morning, was where they had a scenario where a coach was telling his student that if he kneeled during the national anthem, he would kick him off the team. And it was just so scary seeing the people, how like the regular people would react. Like you had random strangers coming up to this high school kid and saying, like, you don't deserve to be in this country. Like, you need to get out. Like, you're disrespectful. You're a horrible person. And
that's stupid.
It was terrifying. So like, imagine just talking to another person like that, someone you don't know, for something so,
Yeah, no, I get what you're saying. Because it's terrible that we have such a superficial idea of what it means to be patriotic or American.
Yep.
Yeah.
It makes me sad when I think about it, because it's being boiled down to who can yell, "I'm an American," the loudest. Mm-hmm. And it's like, that's not what being American is about, as far as like what our Constitution is made up of, what our founding fathers essentially wanted the American ideal to be. And people kind of take what they want, they cherry pick what they want from the Constitution as a way of justifying themselves. And it's really scary to come to grips with that, because once again, kneeling during the national anthem, there is nothing in the Constitution that says you have to stand. That's just something that was implemented, I think. I'm trying to remember. I read something about
Isn't
that.
kneeling is like a symbolism of respect?
It depends. Like that's what I'm saying. That kneeling, depending on what context it is, to kneel for something and bow your head is to show respect to something. But because of the reason he was doing
medieval times,
exactly, and like we've evolved to the point where we have our freedoms and we understand what they mean. It's because it's such a practiced ritual that if you don't abide by it the way it's been done, people assume that you're trying to break tradition and that you're trying to destroy the foundation on which it was built. And when we really think about it, think about the foundation on which America has been built. How many backs? How many people? How many different types of institutions were constructed while excluding certain groups? So these are the things that people have to take into consideration. When you look at how things were founded or where things started, where are we now and how can we implement that?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, America was built by stealing land.
By stealing land, stealing people. Like it was a messy and a dirty business to get to where we are in 2018, and that should be acknowledged.
And don't get me wrong, before everybody comes at me like, fucking American hater. I love America. I fucking love America. If I hated Americans, I wouldn't be doing a podcast with 3 Americans. I mean, come on, bro. But it's like there are certain things that need to be, and if people actually like do get that angry at certain things like that, like kneeling is it shows respect. If you kneel, like that's why when you're asking somebody to marry them, you kneel and you show them the ring. It's like, I respect you, and here's the ring. I want to marry you. I want to spend the rest of my life with you, which we all know. I'm pretty sure we all know that's a bunch of bullshit nowadays in 2018. But like kneeling it shows respect. It's like I'm kneeling towards you because I respect you. It's like I'm slightly vulnerable because I'm kneeling. I could just like kick you in the face. But
I find it very symbolic though. Like they're in solidarity. They're kneeling for the lives lost.
Yeah.
And for people to twist it in a way and turn it into like a negative connotation is really just kind of, I think, wicked.
Agreed.
Yeah, it's pretty dumb.
And that's what people do. I mean, people have a tendency to, again, cherry pick. They take what they want and apply it to how they want the truth to be perceived. And it's really scary because if you get enough people rallying behind something, we get this situation with Colin Kaepernick. He's not
like, in my opinion, why did Trump win? Because Trump
don't get that.
Because Trump was the guy.
I could rant about that all day.
He gave everything to America that America wanted. He was loud. He was obnoxious. He was brutal. He didn't back down. And he didn't give a fuck. And that's why he won. Because Hillary was trying to get kids from fucking college and shit that played Pokemon Go talking about Pokemon. Are you fucking kidding me? Talk about Mustangs. Talk about fucking war in tanks and... excuse me, but punching them right in the pussy or whatever the fuck he said. But that's what people enjoyed. That's what people enjoyed. Yeah, shoot guns to the air and whoa, yeah, fuck yeah.
I like Bernie.
Oh, me too.
I was all about Bernie. I thought he was like the sweetest man ever.
I understand where his direction was. That's again, we're about to go through this in November.
Yeah.
Oh, it's going to start all over again.
Oh, I got to register to vote.
Do it as quickly as possible.
Yeah, I'll do that as soon as possible.
In November.
For me, by the way.
What happened?
I'm gonna try to be president of the United States.
I mean, I'm telling you, do your best. There are parameters, so you just got to read up on what the qualifying factors are. But come November, it'll be time to see if he's going to get another 2 years. And I implore everyone to do your research, to understand what your values are as far as what it means to be an American citizen and what that means to be a contributing community member.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's 2 key words for being a patriot is contributing to a community.
Yeah. What do you want out of your country, and who does that affect? Are the questions that you should ask yourself when you go to vote for someone. If you have a candidate that represents that, by all means, vote for who you feel represents what you want. But understand that the backlash that comes from them implementing that affects you too. So even if they promise you the world, understand what it'll take to get that. This is all I want people to understand. Understand what you're getting yourself into when you vote for certain people. Because even though that may promise you the world, understand what it will take to get you the things that you ask for.
But that thing, I think the voting thing, it's fucking outdated as fuck. I don't know. It's like people get so many like ideas of like possibly getting people to like them and shit. Here in Portugal, they do that shit all the fucking time. It's like the last president of the country became the president because he was on TV. And listen, it's not that he's too bad. He's actually, he's actually loved by the people. I don't know why. I'm kind of unaware of what he's doing and shit, honestly. But That's just because I don't fucking like politics at all. Just fuck politics. I don't like that shit. Bring in the kings again and let's behead people and execute people. I'm more into that shit. But I think like the whole voting thing, it's fucking outdated as fuck because people are too easy to manipulate, and just words get their attention and just words buys them. And I don't think it should be like that, because a lot of the guys that are running the country here, it's a bunch of pieces of shit. They just want to do nothing and get paid and just get their fucking fat asses fed even more and more and more. And I don't know. It's like they just get there and like, hey, everybody, I'm going to be offering you this and this and this. We're going to be having a great time together. It's like, and then they get elected and no, not at all. They're actually a bunch of fucking assholes. They don't do shit. Yeah, it's the same. The problems remain. There's no fixing of anything. There's nothing getting done. It's all remains the same. So it's like, I don't know. What is that good for?
Whoa.
Yeah, I mean, it depends on what kind of government structure you're looking for. Like, as far as our country was basically founded on democracy, so the people decide what they want, and because of who we currently have in office, it's been decided, presumably, by the people that this is what we want. The majority rules.
See, that's a funny thing, because there's a lot of people here, like, who lived through it, who actually want a dictatorship back in Portugal. Because when there was a dictator, the country was rich. But the negative situations about that was that people were not free. Like, you were technically not free. Let me try to explain this properly. You were not free in the sense of, like, you can't go outside and talk shit about the dictator. If you do, you will get arrested, you'll get tortured. That's basically what happened. They're going to remove your nails, they're going to pull your hair, they're going to burn you, they're going to do all that sort of shit. Like, they were literally torturing people. So it's like, it's a messed up thing to understand, but like, if you're inside of your place, you are free to do whatever the fuck you want. So, I mean, if you want to talk shit about the government or whatever, or the fucking dictatorship, like, do it inside of your place. Don't do it outside. Don't do it in a cafe. Like, that doesn't make any sense. You have to respect other people. Maybe other people like certain, the freedom of speech is such a, I don't know. I feel like the problem with giving people freedom is that they abuse it. They don't use freedom. They abuse freedom, because it's when you help somebody and they feel like, oh, you helped me, now I can take a lot of shit from you. And it's like you give them a hand and they want the whole fucking arm. At some point, they don't want the whole fucking body. You have things have to be controlled with people. People are abusive. People don't. The more you give them, the more they want. Like, they can't regulate. Like, okay, I was helped. I understand. I have to take it easy now. It's like, you pay a guy a beer and he drinks the beer. He doesn't have money for the next one. So he just hangs around you expecting to get another one. And then there's the people that there's those that don't say anything, but then there's those that actually, hey, so I just had my beer. Can you order another one? Just, yeah. I've done this. I actually have done this myself. And I'm not talking about this as someone who has been getting people asking me to pay them for like a next beer after they had one, and then now they cannot afford another one. But also from the side of the guy that was not being able to afford another one and wanted another one. Does this I don't know. Does this make any sense to you guys, or
that makes sense. That makes sense.
People need to be controlled. It's sad to say, honestly. It's sad to say, but the majority of people need to be controlled. they cannot be set free because they will be corrupted, they will be abusive, they will not be, self-controllable, and they will just fuck things up, because that's their nature. It's just like, it's who they are. So you need to control people. So the freedom of speech thing, and I think that's why a lot of people prefer dictatorship here, because the country nowadays with the democracy is, there's this motherfucker here who doesn't do shit, and then there's a motherfucker over there that doesn't do shit, and then there's the other motherfucker there that doesn't do shit either. So it's like, what's the democracy for, dude? When we were in a dictatorship, the country was rich as fuck. Like, Portugal was rich. This country was literally rich, even though very small, but it was rich. It was filled with gold and money. Now it's like, who even knows about us? Unless it's fucking Cristiano Ronaldo, nobody knows about Portugal. It's like, what?
And I think that also comes from, in my opinion, the America-centric viewpoint. Is that many times...
It's not just America. It's the whole world. I mean, it's literally like, if you go talk to somebody about Portugal, all they know is Cristiano Ronaldo. They don't know anything else. It's like, do you even know a little bit about history? Like, I know a little bit about history about England. I know a little bit about history about France, Germany, Spain, America, Brazil. Like, do they know anything about us? Because like, it doesn't matter. Knowing or not knowing, it doesn't really matter, because it's not a necessity or anything. I don't know. I feel like I'm just rambling at this point. Should we move on to the next topic? I think.
Let's move forward.
So yeah, it's your time now, Miss Nomer.
Yes, it is. Well, I would like to speak about. So, as we know, last week, the illustrious, wonderful, magical queen of R&B passed away. It was terrible. It was just horrible. Breaks my heart. Aretha Franklin has passed away and has hung up her crown as the queen of R&B. And so we had Ariana Grande, who's an up-and-coming pop singer, who was singing during her funeral service. Now, this service went on for a good 6 hours. She was honored beyond belief. But after Ariana Grande performed "Natural Woman," which is one of Aretha Franklin's most well-known songs. I don't recall the name of the preacher, but he brought her over, to kind of say a little word about it. And it was clear in the video footage, as well as photos that were taken during it, that he was touching her inappropriately. Like, he gave her a hug like a normal person, but then when he had her by his side, his hand was way up near her chest.
He was trying to cop a feel?
Yeah, like his fingers were moving in ways that you don't do when you're talking to a person.
I'm about to look this clip up right now.
It was really disturbing from a woman's perspective, because we could see on Ariana's face that she was clearly very uncomfortable with what was happening. And it was just a cry for help. There were a lot of emotions that were going across her face if you paid attention.
Oh, I'm seeing a screenshot from the video right now, and she already looks so.
And it's scary. And so after that footage was released and people were talking about it, the main argument that came up was her outfit. Now, Ariana Grande is known for wearing things, things that show her legs off. And that's fine. And people, in the church community are saying, that outfit's not allowed in the pulpit. She must not have grown up in the church. She obviously don't know. And it's kind of like, because of what Ariana Grande was wearing, she was getting a lot of backlash, saying that what she was wearing wasn't appropriate. And it was problematic for as far as respect is concerned. And that's what the Queen was known for, her song, R-E-S-P-E-C-T. But what people were trying to do is overshadow the fact that this young woman was essentially molested on live TV during a funeral service. And when the preacher gave his apology, and I say this with air quotations, there are a lot of maybes in his apology. He was dancing around the issue itself and trying to play it off like that's how he is with everyone. And he was saying, maybe I offended some people with what I did, and maybe I did this.
I have the direct quote right here. It says, maybe I crossed the border. Maybe I was too friendly or familiar, but again, I apologize. So, yeah, you're right. He's trying to play it off as him just joking around and how it got misinterpreted.
Oh, yeah. And he completely, whenever you say maybe in something, you are diluting your apology because you're saying that you don't know whether or not it was a bad thing, or you don't know whether or not it was interpreted the way it was. No, sir, no. You touched her inappropriately, and you need to apologize for that. There is no maybe. It is what it is. Don't touch people you don't know without consent, and it doesn't matter what she was wearing. Forget that. Just get that out of your head right now.
I'm sorry to interrupt, but I'm looking at a picture right now of her, and it's I don't think there's any big deal about her outfit, honestly. I mean, yeah, she's showing a lot of legs, but why would you touch her breasts? Like, what?
This is the problem. People tried to play it off that her outfit was supposedly enticing to him, and that gave him.
I don't think so. I don't get anything. You know, it's a good-looking woman. That's it.
Exactly.
So I'm watching the video, and she's like trying to pull back from him. Like you could see her visibly trying to pull away, but his arm is like just wrapped around her, pulling him. Like, I don't know what thing you're looking at, but like on mine it has the video, and she's visibly trying to pull away, but his arm's like grabbing her in.
Yeah, and this is a problem that women deal with on the daily. Like whether or not to make a scene when you're being violated like this, because obviously that environment was a funeral and it was honoring a legend. So to make a scene would detract from the original purpose of that situation, and that would be considered disrespectful. So with the fear of being disrespectful, like crying out for help, or making it known that you need assistance would be looked down upon. And it's a shame.
And not just that, but it's also like I mean, it's a dude, it's a bishop, right?
I think it's a bishop or a preacher. I know that he's a high-ranking official in the church community.
Yeah, I mean, to me, that's the worst part. Because last week I was like, I saw the fucking the church going all over the place last week with our topics. Like, holy shit, dude! Like, what is going on? And I'm actually glad about that shit. No offense to Richard, but fuck church.
That's our next topic. We're gonna hold off on that one.
Yep.
But I just wanted to bring attention to that situation, because this is something that women go through all the time. And the fact that there are so many people on the side of this church member and saying that she was wrong for what she was wearing, but completely ignoring the fact that she was violated on live TV.
Of course they were.
There's no excuse for that. And then his apology, to put the cherry on top, was less than sincere. It sounded like a public relations cover-up. Like, it's not, you had no intention. The only reason you spoke out is because you were caught. And it made my stomach turn. It still makes my stomach turn. That people, and she's actually in the limelight again for something that happened recently, but we're not going to talk about that right now. And it's not her fault. Again, she's being victimized for something that really has nothing to do with her. And again, it's that whole idea that when it comes to women, there are certain responsibilities we're supposed to kind of take silently. And I'll tell you right now, I refuse.
You know what? I understand the women's side. It's pretty, it's pretty messed up, but I also hope that this wakes some people up. Listen, guys, come over to atheism. We don't have just cookies. We have Coca-Cola. We have beer. We have everything. All right. So come to the atheism side. It's a lot better.
Sometimes I feel like stuck up for thinking like that, but then I hear about stuff like this, and then I'm like,
Shameless marketing
for being an
plug.
atheist?
Yeah.
What do you mean? You are just not indoctrinated. An atheist is someone who has not been indoctrinated into believing something that people want to believe. People want you to believe because they believe. And it's like, oh, I believe this. I want you to believe this as well. You must believe this with me. Otherwise, you're not cool. Like, what? Are you fucking kidding me, dude? It doesn't make any sense. Listen, I'm going to be the first guy that admits if fucking God exists, fucking smite me right now, you piece of shit, genocide, motherfucking creating, like, fucking destroying creature. Smite me right now. I've burned Bibles. I've done all of that shit to fucking try to spite that piece of shit. But no, nothing ever happens. All right? And this is not a religion-hating podcast, but fuck, dude. I mean, it's about time people fucking wake up. Like a few months ago, I think it was last year, a guy went with a forklift right into a church here in Portugal. And this is a very, very fucking Christian country. Why? Because the priest fucking basically got 100,000 euros from him and never paid back. Or I don't remember the story in full, but it was something like that. He basically got a loan for $100,000 and he never paid back. And they just kept taking money and money and money. It's a fucking scam. It's a fucking scam, people. Wake up. Religion is a fucking scam. It might have been started as something good, but it is not anymore. It's a fucking scam. It's for people to steal money from you, and you think you're doing good. Wake up. It's about time to fucking wake up. It's enough. Enough is enough, dude.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like there's no, and for everybody that like it still boggles my mind when I go on Facebook and I'm in the Atheist Safe House. It's a Facebook group. If you're an atheist, go there because a lot of people talk about shit there. And it still boggles my mind to see people like, should I let people know in public that I'm an atheist or should I just hide it? And I'm like, what? Why the fuck should you hide that? No, don't hide it. Just let people know. Like, what? And if people actually get offended by the fact that you're an atheist, fuck them because they're a bunch of pieces of shit as well. There's no other way to put it. Like, you can't be offended by someone that has not been indoctrinated into believing something that doesn't make any fucking sense whatsoever. That was cool like 1,000 years ago. That was the cool shit to believe in 1,000 years ago because there was nothing else going on. But it's 2018, people. Let's face the facts. There has never been any sort of proof that God exists. There has never been sort of proof. Like, come on. I'm getting a little bit exalted here. Not exalted. What's the fucking word?
Exerted.
I guess.
Exerted.
All right. I'll let you guys talk it now for a little bit. Just needed to get things off my chest.
You burn Bibles? That's so metal, actually.
I did once because I was 17, I think.
What a perfect age to do something so angsty.
I'm not gonna lie. I was trying to impress a girl. It was also metal. Yeah, but
that is metal as fuck.
Yeah. I'm feeling awkward now, but moving on.
Oh, no awkwardness. This is all an open space to, again, navigate the maze of thoughts.
Maze of thoughts, yeah. I think that's kind of one of the issues that living in this part of New York has caused me. Everyone here is super religious, so it's a little bit difficult to navigate around. Because it's not even like the chill, like Christian people, they're the ones who are like, oh, well, you don't believe in God, I hope you like burning in hell.
Mm-hmm. And I think that goes against
oh
Christian
my God, every time I hear that, it's like, motherfucker, I want to burn in hell. Fuck your heaven. Go fuck you with your fucking heaven. You think I want to go to heaven? Fuck heaven. Heaven is a piece of shit space. What do you mean? Fuck heaven. What? I'm gonna be there like fucking stranded with a fucking what's that vest? The fucking vest of you can't fucking do anything. I forgot the name. I get excited and I forget words because I'm it's like fuck your heaven, dude. Hell has everything that's fun. Everything that's fun is in hell. You motherfuckers say so. Your little fucking pamphlets and your little flyers. Oh, don't masturbate. What? I'm going to do it right after the fucking podcast. What do you mean? Fuck you. What do you mean? Like, don't do this, don't do that. Like, what? What? I can find like fucking hundreds of pictures here on Google from people like, don't be an atheist because you're going to go to hell. Yes, I'm going to go to hell. I want to go to hell. All the good guys are in hell.
All the good guys are in hell.